Okay, so thank you so much, Piotr. Indeed, together with my colleague Polonca Ropret, we are going to give an overview of what E-RIHS is. My name is Vania Virgili. I'm from the National Research Council of Italy, Institute for Heritage Science, and I've been recently appointed as Interim Director General of E-RIHS to be. I would like to start this presentation with the slogan of E-RIHS, which is E-RIHS Connected Heritage to Science, which is exactly what E-RIHS does in a very particular configuration, which is the configuration of a research infrastructure. But first of all, what is a research infrastructure? We have a definition given by the European Commission, according to which a research infrastructure is an organization that enables a community working in a specific field to use state-of-the-art facilities, resources, and data to conduct top-level research. But research infrastructure combine not only hard equipment, but also skills and efforts of people working within them in order to accelerate scientific achievements, but also translate them into real-world application. So now E-RIHS operates in the interdisciplinary community of heritage science. The idea behind heritage science is to overcome the traditional approaches, such as, for instance, science for art, to kick off a new way of operating in which hard sciences and humanities join their capabilities with equal importance and role to enhance care, sustainable use, and management of heritage. Indeed, the vision of E-RIHS is to preserve the meaning and the accessibility of heritage as a source of socioeconomic and environmental sustainability for today and future generations. To do so, E-RIHS addresses its services on tangible heritage materials in order to overcome in order to understand, to identify the complex cultural and historical layers embedded within them. You will hear during our today workshop a lot about the different services E-RIHS provides to the so-called users. Our users are both scholars and practitioners working in the field of heritage, and they ask E-RIHS to assist them in answer complex research questions, but also to stimulate innovation in heritage practices and interventions. You will learn today a lot about the access services provided by E-RIHS, the training activities we provide under the Heritage Science Academy, but also the research and development activities we conduct in order to ameliorate our service offer in this particular configuration that we like to call it user-provider co-creation process. We also try to stimulate the common protocols and standards, the international cooperation, and last but not least, the impact that all the activities produce in for the benefit of the society. E-RIHS, as said by Piotr at the beginning, is really the result of a series of successful European projects that started in the early 2000s, and now E-RIHS has decided to configure itself in a long-term organization which is the so-called European Research Infrastructure Consortium. And European Research Infrastructure Consortium is an intergovernmental organization which is recognized and regulated by the European Union, and the members of this intergovernmental organization are countries, which could be countries inside and outside Europe. For the moment, we received the willingness to participate in the E-RIHS from 14 countries. You can read them in my slide. 9 of these countries are already confirmed their commitment to be part of the E-RIHS. ICCROM, also the intergovernmental organization working in the conservation, preservation of monument of cultural heritage, is also part. It's a prospective partner of the E-RIHS as a permanent observer. Now, E-RIHS is a distributed research infrastructure. It means that the facilities are geographically scattered across Europe and organized in national nodes. All the activities provided of the national nodes provided as E-RIHS are centrally managed by our headquarters, the so-called E-RIHS Central Hub, which operates as access point to the services offered by E-RIHS. The E-RIHS Central Lab is located in the Manifattura Tabacchi in Florence. You will see in the next picture in my slide. The Manifattura Tabacchi is an industrial heritage complex, a former tobacco factory, which is undergoing a very fascinating regeneration led by art and creativity. And I really invite you to visit us. We will be more than happy to show you around this very fascinating environment. As I said, E-RIHS is composed of national nodes. Each national node is constituted by universities, research institutions, museums, research organizations, laboratories, conservation centers, that they open their equipment, collection, data to the scholars and practitioners to support them in advancing, as I said at the beginning, accelerating their research, but also bringing innovation to heritage practices and interventions. So I stop here and I will give the floor to Polonca Ropret, who is the chair of the Interim Committee of National Nodes, and she will tell more about the configuration of national nodes, their activities, purposes, and Polonca, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Vania. Can you please move to the next slide? Thank you. And welcome to everybody, and hello also from my side. The Committee of National Nodes is the scientific body of E-RIHS. Currently, we are naming the Interim Committee because we are in the interim phase. And here you have listed several activities that are coming from the statutes of the E-RIHS. What are the tasks of the Interim Committee of National Nodes? We are also obliged to report to Director General and through the Director General of E-RIHS, also to the General Assembly of E-RIHS. But the main task that I would like to highlight in today's presentation is that we are the ones who are annually obliged to compose and to prepare the offer of services of the E-RIHS. So to the next slide, please. Thank you. So the services are gathered in the catalog of service, and currently we have 140 facilities. That's not just the equipment that is there, but it's also coupled with the cutting-edge expertise. And through the unique access point that is through the central hub, we are offering access to 4 different platforms. So one is the archive, which is the archives of museums or cultural institutions or research institutions. Then we have a fixed lab that are the large-scale facilities, such as, for example, synchrotrons or neutron centers, or also smaller labs that have advanced equipment and knowledge. But this equipment is fixed, so this means that the user comes to the fixed lab facility and bringing with samples to the facility. And then we have a mobile laboratory, which means that the laboratory is composed of equipment that is portable and can be brought on site to the object or to the cultural heritage site for the investigation and work with users there. And then we have also a digital laboratory, which is the digital data that are gathered in the lab and together also with the digital tools. And here I would like to mention that it's important also the cooperation of building the DigiLab, and currently the most important one is the European Collaborative Cloud for Cultural Heritage. The access that we are offering in one is the excellence-driven access, which means that the E-RIHS will publish calls for proposals so that users can apply with smaller projects that can then be reviewed and accepted to give the access to. And this is based on the excellence of the project that is submitted to the E-RIHS. And then we are also discussing some other types of accesses like wider access mode and market-driven access, which means, for example, how to offer access also to some projects such as projects that were approved by the European Research Council, for example, and how to nationally include the access into the E-RIHS. One important aspect is also that we co-create knowledge together with users, and we co-create also what kind of access we are offering. And we are also trying to enhance the service offers together with the users. So, in fact, we are also trying to co-create our research infrastructure according to the users' needs. So the next slide, please. So who are our users? The majority of our users are coming from material science, humanities, and chemistry, as you see in this slide. But we do have some users also that are from physics, information and communication, and the earth sciences and environment, and also some, but not so much, from social sciences, life sciences and biotechnology, and engineering and technology. So next slide, please. So Vania showed in the slide before who are the countries that are now the funding members of the E-RIHS. But we do have also some important international collaborations that are already going on inside of Europe, for example, with Czech Republic, Denmark, Norway, and Germany. And then we also have collaborations outside of Europe, such as from Latin America, from the USA and Canada, or from China or Middle East. And these collaborations are important for us as well in order to build E-RIHS as a global research infrastructure. The scientists coming from those countries were invited to Enlargement Board, where we can more in deep discuss also the collaboration that is possible with the E-RIHS. Next slide, please. So currently, for the Enlargement Board, we have countries such as Denmark and Norway coming from member states that are having their members there, and also from Brazil, Egypt, and USA. There are some differences that I will just briefly mention, but they will be later on more in deeply discussed with at the end of this workshop program. So the Denmark and Norway can become members. So we have such a bit different procedures for them, but the third countries such as Brazil and Egypt and USA, they can also become members, but they do need to follow the European legislation if they want to become the members. So usually this doesn't happen, and we have to negotiate case by case, but with individual institutions separately. So we do then have quite advanced talks with and discussions with Brazil and Egypt about what are their expectations from the E-RIHS and what they can offer to the E-RIHS. And I will stop now here, and thank you very much for your attention. And more details about this are going to be given, as I said, at the end of the program of today. Thank you very much.